Sebastian Vettel's retirement has been looming for years, as much as we never wanted to admit it. My reaction was caught live after just filming a podcast episode with Hannah, and the pure shock, I'm sure, was shared among us all. I'm not sure if even one F1 fan was happy that he's moving on, but instead of dwelling on this news and waving him a sorrowful goodbye at the end of the year, I want to celebrate the lucrative, successful, and most importantly quick career of four-time world champion, Sebastian Vettel. Before we crack on, YouTube tells me that more than 80% of you who watch my videos aren't subscribed, so if you do enjoy, even a little bit, consider subscribing. Let's get into it. Now when I say Seb's quick Formula 1 career, I don't mean how long he was in the sport for. Sebastian Vettel's F1 debut was at the 2007 United States Grand Prix in a one-off appearance for BMW, before getting a mid-season promotion with Toro Rosso later that year. His first race for Toro Rosso was in Hungary 2007. He took part in 4 races after his 8th place finish in his debut, missing out on a debut for Toro Rosso in his home country of Germany by 1 race. If this was to come into fruition, Sebastian would be finishing his career on 300 races. Unfortunately for him, his last race at the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix in 2022 will see out 299. But how good was Sebastian Vettel? For many years, Sebastian was at the top of Formula One's fans' lists that begin with I hate. Why? Some people don't like success. A similar reason why Lewis Hamilton received hate, and it's similar to why Max Verstappen is currently among one of the most hated drivers on the 2022 grid. But again, how good was Sebastian Vettel? In his prime, it was a race for second. If your race prediction wasn't P1 to Vettel, you were a DTS fan before it was cool. Vettel's career at Red Bull, the team he experienced the most domination with, had him feature in 113 race starts, 38 wins, 65 podiums, and 44 pole positions. But before we dive into that, let's look back even further, to 2008, on a rainy day in Monza, where Lewis Hamilton and Kimi Räikkönen chose the wrong compound of tyre in qualifying, and Sebastian Vettel took pole by just under 8/100ths of a second. Sebastian fought hard, while the Italian crowd just waited for something to go wrong. Yet it never did. Sebastian crossed the line on September 14, 2008 to become the youngest Formula 1 Grand Prix winner at the time, and it was only up from there. It is very easy to blame the car for success, and many people gave more credit to the car than to Sebastian. But I think Martin Brundle summed it up perfectly, saying, well, people say he only wins because he has the best car. Webber is a great driver, and he is 30 seconds behind. That was more or less the story of his Red Bull racing career. 2010, the young gun becomes the youngest world champion. 2011, successful title defense, most poles taken in a season. 2013, 9 consecutive wins, quadruple world champion. That speaks for itself. Sebastian achieved the most poles in any season by a single driver with 15 in 2011. Sat on pole at age 21 years and 76 days, the youngest at the time, and a record that still sits today. Seb's 4 Drivers' Championships see him join Juan Manuel Fangio and Michael Schumacher as the only men to have won 4 consecutive championships. The Infinity Red Bull racing driver is the youngest ever quadruple champion. The way he was able to make those Pirellis work in their inaugural year in 2011, combined with how Red Bull was able to manufacture a car that suited Sebastian's driving style, just created a monster. It was a recipe for success. Sebastian Vettel's legacy was further formed when he moved to Scuderia Ferrari, a legacy that could have brightened his GOAT status, but rather dimmed it. As his charge for the title was denied by Lewis Hamilton in 2015, 17, 18, 19 and 20, and as well as Rosberg in 2016, he himself said after leaving Ferrari, "It is true, I have failed, because I set myself the mission or the target to win the championship with Ferrari. I have failed. I didn't manage to do that." Times were only made harder when young gun Charles Leclerc was introduced to the Ferrari family in 2019, butting heads with Sebastian and taking a long-term deal with the team. After Sebastian, for lack of a better phrase, was pushed out, his move to Aston Martin came with its downfalls. A podium in Azerbaijan 2021 was a highlight, yet not much good was to come prior or after that. As Theodore Joseph Nathaniel Slotover,
Good. Got some cheese?
also known as Ted Kravitz, alluded to, Sebastian put out hints this season that he was going to retire. Bringing his kids to the Red Bull ring, taking his car out on track, that being Nigel Mansell's FW14B he privately owns, and I'm sure plenty of other things we've missed. Sebastian told us his environmental impact as an F1 driver made him question his place in the sport. Sebastian further said in his retirement video that he wants to spend more time with his kids to watch them grow. That, mixed with Aston Martin's poor performance, further pushed him into retirement. Although it was clear retirement crossed his mind even after leaving Ferrari, it's still something I didn't see coming. Maybe it's because I didn't want to see it coming. Did you? Where were you when you found out Sebastian retired? Let me know in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe.